Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast, Youth Baseball Talk, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. And we are back today with some great content, as always, most comprehensive youth baseball talk around.
You know, I get so excited just to say .com. And I like when you give me the moment to shine, I like freeze sometimes. Sometimes I own it. You know, it's a great day outside, so I figured it's beautiful before the snow comes in. I would probably killed it with like a .com. You know, I did it now, but
I like it still.
It made me nervous. It was like an 0-2 count, and I wasn't sure if I was getting a fastball or curveball.
And we want to do this before we move on. Want to give we have some condolences to give out. There's our baseball family, people that we know. First of all, Game 7 Baseball, Dave Schmidt, his mother-in-law passed away, and so we wanted to say our thoughts and prayers with the family there, and that the grief is shortened. I mean, that's tough when you're losing family, and then also our good buddy down with Prime Sports, Rick Benz, just lost his mother. And so we're thinking of you guys. We care about you and your families. Hope that the grief is short and the Lord, helps you just remember them as they were when they were alive, and that we have good memories. And so our thoughts and prayers are with those families today. So I just wanted to say that. And it's always, people, man. It's about people, and that's the way it should be. And that's what we like about this. The relationships that we've built over our now 6 years, it's nice. It really is. And it you feel it. People are hurting. It's always tough to lose a family member.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes when you're in person, you might not always get the sentiment that you see in when you write something out, because you could see the time that it's probably taken, that they've added something, they've taken something away, they've cried throughout the process of writing information. And it's one thing that I've learned as you get older, this stuff is inevitable. So cherish your time. And that's what you see a lot of these posts about when family members are lost is cherish that time together.
Enjoy your family.
Yep.
Enjoy it, absolutely. And when you get the opportunity, say something nice. It's always good. Saying something nice is better than saying something bad. It just is, so anyway, everybody, just our condolences there. Game 7 baseball tournament season round the corner. We're going to have, of course, Dave Penning on, I think, in a couple weeks. With the February 3 for 30, 4 for 40, 5 for 50. That discount is still there. Make sure you take advantage of that. Get yourself signed up.
February 7th.
February 7th is the deadline. That is 11:59 p.m.
11:59.
Or else it automatically goes out of your queue, and you're paying the full price. So make sure you get that taken care of for whatever tournament you got there. Starting off, we're going to be announcing our dates when Dave comes on in a couple weeks, and where we'll be and what we're going to be doing. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
I'm excited because I don't even know.
I haven't told anybody.
And I'm part of the show, and I'm like, man, I'm excited over here. So hopefully everybody else gets excited. I think it's a cool thing that you do. I know that it's geared towards a certain age division, but I love it. I love going out there and seeing and rewarding, these young people, because you get to the end of the year and it's fun. And then with not having a team in this age group particularly, I think that this year I get to sit down with you. I'm hoping and have some experience
Yeah, please.
At the backstop with you guys, calling games or just shooting a breeze.
It's fun.
Hopefully it's not cold like some of the early games were last year.
Oh, it will. No, I don't. We'll see. It will be cold.
I remember you came out to, I think, the it was
Ozzy's
or whatever it was.
Yeah,
it was cold.
One. Yeah, that was
windy.
Arch Madness is usually, it can be chilly. Yeah, Arch Madness is one of those. But if you know anything about, we've really never missed Arch Madness. So.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that's a leak. It's one of those Easter eggs or whatever they call them, like in movies, right? Isn't that what they call them? Easter eggs.
Right. So just saying. But when we talk about, I like the 14U age group because that's that next leap into high school, and you're seeing the kids and you're going into that. I like to keep the youth stuff just fun. Talking to the kids. We do some games and we do some highlights and we do those things. But I like just going out and talking to those kids and we get them on when we're out and we have the on-site studio, on location studio, and we get them over and talk trivia and just have it. I want the baseball experience to still be fun. They're out there competing. That's fine. That's it. But 9, 10, 11, 12, like we've talked about, these are things that we stick to our core, what we think about these things. It's always great to compete, and you should, and learning how to compete. But, wins and losses are always good, but those are a product of hard work and helping the kids work hard to learn the game. But when it comes to that, it still needs to be that experience, that fun, just, not being just the push of win.
Yeah. It's for me, it's been pretty interesting on that side because, I've worked with the high school side, college side of things. And then recently I've been working with some younger groups through PBA, Gas House, and even, for our younger tribe teams that we'll start in the spring. And, for the longest time, it took a lot out of me to work with that younger age group just because of the way that I wanted to communicate. And now, I specifically a Gas House team that I work with, they have a 10-year-old group that is just an absolute blast. And it has given me a little bit of motivation to figure out how to work with them and their personalities and their enjoyment of what they think the game is.
Sure.
So how do we train them? It's like, looking at this, I'm all business-like typically. When I have my older athletes, I come in there and I do all the fun stuff. You got to stay active, keep the mind from wandering, and so I'm learning to figure it all out again. When you first start, that's the age groups that you get. You get all these young kids, and so you have to keep it simple and fun.
Yeah.
Then you get to a business-like mentality, and it's really hard to go backwards. And it's given me, I guess, some playfulness and back into my own mind. Like I can do this. I can influence young people, and we go in there and I have a blast with that group, and they're fun. I mean, they run their mouth, they talk smack, and it's like, all right, man, we got some dudes on here that are, having a good time. So, and they're a AA club, so nothing special, but the fun that they have, keep it that way, because it's a blast being able to work with that.
I always like something the Gators do with their really young. They do the stuff indoors and they play the games, and you have those inter squad. You always got these 6U kids, and the pictures are cool. I think it's fun, keeping it like that. I think that's the part of it that needs to happen at these younger age levels, 6, 7, 8, even 9. It's competitive enough. The game is competitive enough, and learning how to compete is, I think, something that has to be. I think there's kids that just naturally go out and compete. Right? And then there's other kids that they have a tendency, they're not as aggressive, right? That's okay too. But that doesn't mean they're not competitive or they don't want to win. It's just different how. And I think coaches, especially at the younger age levels, at that 9, 10, 11, have to see these. You may be the parent of a kid that's ultra aggressive, and you're wanting to see that out of the rest of the kids. Well, that may not happen, and you're used to that. It's not necessarily that it's the dad's doing it, but that's what he's used to. right?
Oh, I could tell you, I am completely guilty of having those thoughts as a coach. Asking my own daughter at coaching her, saying, how come the rest of the team can't do what you're doing with your energy, your fun, the way that you're a team player, your work ethic? That was probably what was the biggest issue with my daughter and myself, was that. And then I get into my teams now, and when last year, I had some really hardworking kids, and I couldn't figure out why all of them wouldn't want to work like the best player on the team. Right. Because if that's what you're chasing, I mean, these are conversations that we've had that they wanted to be like, and I'm like, okay, well, if you want to be like this person because he is this leader, then why aren't you doing those necessary things? And for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. And then once I realized that, let the athlete be who they are and try to connect with them on a different level and ask questions that maybe the answers you're looking for, just ask them differently, positively, versus trying to bring out a negative, like it sound negative or condescending. So a lot can happen. And that's what I've changed the most.
Mark Gerard followed, he had the Sticks for all those years. They're over with Midland now, which I understand that. The kid's getting to 14. He wants to give them opportunity in certain other aspects. And they've always been a very solid AAA team.
Oh, yeah.
And but one of the things I thought Mark was really good at is he had aggressive kids, he had kids that weren't, kids who were fun, and he always kind of let the kids be what they are and had a consistent message about, how you play as a team. And I think it's not everybody that goes into youth coaching really may understand that thought process. And that's not a negative towards that person. That means, they're a terrible coach. No, it's just sometimes we just don't know.
Well, I think it's the nature of the beast. You have that in just coaches in general, too. It's the same thing that you're having the conversations with about these players. It's probably similar to have these coaches because maybe that's what they were. If I was a certain type of player, I'm probably going to be the certain type of coach, probably the certain type of instructor, too. You know what I mean? So I was that kid that was always trying to work hard because I had to to get better, And so, unfortunately, you latch onto those kids because they're like you. But if you want to have a good chemistry and a good group in your team, that you must, as a coach, need to be even keel, and you need to treat the guy that's last on the roster is just like the guy who's on first. And because you're only as good as your weakest link. And
then you look at that and you see some of the best players of all time not coaching. Why? They're not very good at it.
I just had a conversation.
Right? How could that great player not be a good coach? Well, their personality doesn't lend to it. Managing, especially egos at the highest level, is a chore. And probably one that you really wouldn't want, because I think the best coaches are the ones that manage personalities and understand how to. One of the greatest ones, in my opinion, was always Vince Lombardi. And you listen to Jerry Kramer talk about that, and you listen. Now, some of these people might not. Some of the kids,
it's like pretty sure there's probably a lot of don't know who he is.
But Vince Lombardi just kind of embodied that. And even Jerry Kramer, who was a All-Pro Hall of Fame guard for the Green Bay Packers, he said that. He goes, I thought that he demanded out of me more than I could give. But he said the more I played for him, the more he would do this, the more I got out of myself. And he was able to manage. And he never treated everybody the same. And I remember John Madden the same way. John Madden, Art Shell talking about this. He says, Art Shell's talking about this, and he said, I remember Coach Madden coming over, just giving me the business. He said, my personality, I've never liked that. I've never responded well to that. I hated it. And he said, I talked to Coach after. He says, I don't like it when you yell at me. He says, he never yelled at me again. He always did it different ways. And, here's Art Shell, of course, Hall of Famer, All-Pro. Same way, Bart Starr had a similar discussion with Vince Lombardi. He said, Coach is chewing me in front of the whole team in practice and this one. I'm supposed to be the leader. He said, I asked Coach if I could meet with him after practice, and he says, Coach, he said, you're chewing my butt. He says, and granted,
I'm sure they use
it was
different
deserved.
words.
No, that's what he said. He's chewing my butt. And, and he says, granted, it was deserved, but coach, if you want me to lead these guys, you can't be just tearing me down all the time in front of these guys. He said, Lombardi never yelled at me in front of the team again. It's a difference of understanding how to manage things and whatnot. And I think that is something when you're talking about youth baseball and you have 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds, they're young personalities, they're kids that, the parents are this or that. How do you deal with all those things and how do you bring out the best in each one? It's a difficult thing. It's not an easy thing. And how do we help the kids develop not only on the baseball field, but understanding how that process works?
Yeah, I could handle getting chewed out. It motivated me. Like I said before, the way that I grew up playing the sport and understanding what it was is how I started coaching. I'm learning just like these guys, and specifically this year, the patience that I need to know my audience, right? And you would think that I would have learned that maybe a long time ago, as long as I've been coaching. But one of my favorite roles is just to coach. When I feel like I just have to coach like an assistant coach versus a manager, as you're having that conversation and somebody that manages people, I'd much rather just coach, much rather just teach.
And there's guys like
that. And for me, I love the game. I love the ins and outs of the game. I love, being at third base and having the little things, the nuances of the game that you can compete with the other coaching with. What are you going to call here? What are you going to do with your defense, your bunt defense in this situation? So I love the inner workings of it. But to me, that's a coach, right? I don't want to manage people because I don't think I do a great job of it, because in the moment of having someone do something that goes against culture, I'm out. Like I'm all over you. And
that's not necessarily what needs to happen.
No, I probably should pull that athlete to the side. I should make if it's against our club rules and I need to pull you out, I should pull you out of the game and go walk you down to the end of the fence and have a conversation with you if it needs to happen right then and there.
Right.
Yeah, because I am one that feels like you cannot wait when certain situations are happening because they forget. You might forget, maybe that sometimes is probably what needs to happen on the certain level of things. But I am learning that myself, and I'm 40 something years old. I've been coaching for, most of my adult life. And so I'm still learning these little things, and it has created a much better culture relationship with my 15s and 17s. I don't think may have dropped one cuss word this year, and it wasn't even a bad one. It was like one of the motivating ones.
And why
are you applauding me over there?
Why we're talking about
most people know me like that.
Why we're talking about youth baseball, I just want to make sure, as everybody knows, Prime Sports Midwest, they are one of our partners, and we appreciate them jumping on. If you want to check out Prime Sports Midwest, I'm going to pull this up because I meant to do this before we started. And I did not. I have some other information there, but I want to give you the address. 1550 Ocello Drive. Or is it Ocello? It's Ocello. I don't know if it's Ocello or Ocello. Because Cello is cello.
Hello, cello.
Exactly. So that's in Fenton. That's in Champions Village down there in Fenton, Missouri. So go check them out. Give them a call. Phone number is 314-833-7070. Tell them YBM sent you. And because, look, it's not too late. Uniforms, everybody wants to get their club looking good. Fanwear. They have fanwear stores. 80% of their uniforms, fanwear, are decorated in the store, so they're controlling the quality. You got to love that. I love local that way. The design, the creativity, the deadlines. Locally owned, customer service. Remember, you can come to the store.
They do have gear in there. You look at catcher's gear, bat tape,
gear,
all that stuff.
Baseballs, all kinds of stuff going on there. Check out Prime Sports Midwest, primesportsmw.com.
That was good.
How'd you like that?
I did. I wasn't sure if he was going to give me a chance to redeem myself on the .com there.
Bro, I should have.
Well, I saw you go like this, and I thought you were going to give it to me. I guess I didn't. Can I add to that?
Yeah.
So we use Prime Sports for one of our team stores, and I know
okay.
that I mentioned this, I think, a couple of weeks ago when we had used our team store. They will, once your order is complete and you pay for that order, they will start that printing process then. You can come down there, pick it up, or have it shipped to you, but it's done right away. So that store doesn't really close in 2 weeks. It stays open.
Gotcha.
So that you can order. And as you order, if you were first to order, you get your stuff right away.
Wow.
And so if you wait 2 weeks to order, you get your stuff whatever days afterwards. But I think it's pretty neat instead of waiting till it closes like some do.
Right.
And then everybody gets their stuff at one time. So if you order,
That's cool.
as soon as you drop the link, you have to wait 4 weeks.
Gotcha.
Not with them. So that was a cool little nugget there for anybody that wants to use their services. And they've been great calling us, emailing us as stuff comes in. So
awesome. There you go. Testimonial. Boom. That's
I've never had a team store like that.
You guys did that. I didn't know.
I didn't ever have a team store like that. It's always had a start date and end date, and then everything comes else afterwards. You know what I mean?
Horse's mouth right there.
Whew. It's a good thing you used a horse and not a donkey.
We're moving on now.
I did good there, though. I used a donkey.
Yes, you did. Oh, have you seen this? I was just going through here. We're looking at St. Louis clubs. We're still going to finish up a little bit. Recruits baseball. Wiggins posted, I saw it today, it might have been yesterday, probably from last night, but Aiden Hyde, kid throwing 86. That's pretty impressive, man. 15.
There's some dudes out here, man. I did not, I thought St. Louis baseball was going downhill because I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm hearing, as a facility owner, you just hear a lot of people complain, and sometimes you get consumed in the complaining, and it's about the coaching out here, it's about the watered down atmosphere that's here. There is a ton of good players in the St. Louis area that have some really good stuff, and that's a young man that has one of them.
Yeah, and there you go. It's interesting to me that we have, I would say, on the whole, probably 3% people griping and complaining. And why is that always what we're talking about? Rather than most people in general.
Yeah, the 97% that are actually like.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just am so, stop it. If somebody gripes and complains, let them sit in the corner by themselves and gripe and complain. Go gripe and complain to somebody else. If you've got a solution, you could bring that. You could offer a solution.
Oh, heck yeah.
That doesn't mean that they'll take the advice or whatnot. But if you're going to come and have a grievance, at least provide a solution.
Oh, that's a real thing. I have had a couple parents, when you're a coach, you're paying attention to certain things. I don't know if it's like this in baseball. I haven't seen it yet, but like in softball, they communicate like through outs and stuff. They do these little weird little flips, like the bow and arrows for 2 outs or 1 out or whatever, anything like that, because you have to have a little bit of fun in that game, I guess. And what I noticed is like half the team would do it and half the team didn't. And you don't pay attention to that stuff as a coach. Well, it separates the team without even knowing. And I had a parent come up and say, hey, you have a problem on your team because half the team does this, half the team does that. They weren't complaining that there was negativity going on. They said, hey, right, here's the solution to some information. I think that's hopefully the coaches are open to that as well and not just think it sets amigos. You don't know how
somebody's going to receive that or whatnot, but at least have one. Hey, you know what? I'm griping about this, but here, this is what I think. Mm-hmm. You can take it, do what. It's okay. That doesn't mean people are going to do it.
Oh no, I've had people,
but at least present one. I think that's all right.
Well, I can tell you, all my parents have had solutions.
Oh man, look, the recruits though, they're doing a great job down there. Todd Stein, we did. If you get a chance, go check out the the winter workout tour stop we did with Recruits Baseball. It was before COVID. So Todd Stein,
They're a
Dave
little different,
Wiggins,
though, now.
Tyler Mitchell. They are a little different, yeah. But I think they do a good job. I think Todd Stein works very hard to keep that club. And I think Dave Wiggins, I've gotten to know Dave probably the most of all of the coaches there. I'd love to get Tyler Mitchell on. We've talked at different times, talk about hitting, because he works with that group down there. He's the hitting coordinator and a high school coach. So, Tyler, come on, talk some hitting, bro. They do a great job with that group down there. And it's always nice to see, because you see those kids at whatever development stage they are, AA, they are working to develop the kids, and that's what it's about. So when you see a recruits team out on at a Game 7 tournament, at a league tournament, wherever you're at, the kids are working hard. And they might not be winning all the time. That's okay too. But that you know that they're working to develop those kids.
At least having conversations with Dave. I mean, I've had conversations with a couple people that we've had on the show consistently, outside of this setting, of course. I've reached out to him through Facebook, or if we shared, phone numbers and stuff like that, just, shooting ideas. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's awesome to see, for some things that the ego's getting set aside. You have Shane down there doing his PhD. You have, the Hit Lab over there with the Pew and the guys over at Midland and stuff like that. And everybody's just like, I'll have conversations with you.
Yeah.
It's not my way or the highway kind of stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
The other, there's other groups. I like what EJ Basta does over with the St. Louis Redbirds. We haven't seen the Redbirds in quite a while, because that was, again, I think that might have been the year before. But EJ Basta over there, he's done a good job. And you know what I always thought, what I liked about that group is they knew where they were. They stay. He talked about it. We stay within that AA group. We work to develop kids, and we're trying to help them get better. And that's all you can do. And we looked at this last time we were on talking about these things and the teams they have. And I think if you're looking for a group there, as far as the coaches, EJ Basta, Sam Basta, Aaron Bassler, Jake Wesley. I remember he's a high school director and instructor. Eric Moser, Jeremy, and I know I butcher his name every time. We met with Jeremy Allardison.
That's what I'm going with.
I believe that's the way it's pronounced. He gave me his card that time too. Hitting instructor, we watched him. We did a lot of video there watching him. He's really good with the kids. It didn't matter what age. He was communicating well. I thought he was a really good hitting instructor there. He's the lead instructor there and the youth coordinator. So I want to give some prop to some of these guys, that are there working with the kids. Jacob Abraham, youth coordinator and lead instructor. Redbirds for 8 seasons. 314 Training Academy, Jeremy,
that's in Brentwood, correct?
Yeah, they're in Brentwood there.
Is it in Old Balton Strikes?
I don't know. I know it's in an industrial kind of behind. I
feel like it was an Old Balls and Strikes that was in Brentwood. They've had a few locations, and then when that separation happened, I think that's what it turned into, was that 314. They used to have Balls and Strikes in Brentwood. I know that. That was way before COVID. I don't know what I could be way off. It's early.
Oh, I think you're fine. It's not early. It's just in time, man. And
it's early.
One of the guys we hadn't talked to.
I go to bed every day at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
We had a great conversation a while back with Nick Heron when they were first getting. They were still at the Gamers facility over there in South County. They've grown quite a bit. I think it's a club that they do what they do. And your staff there with Nick Herron, Alec Loge, he's the chief operating officer. And then you got guys that have been there. Mark Tabor, director of hitting development. Matthew Herron is the general manager. Andrew Perry, director of communications. Jess LaFentress, director of baseball ops. Has been coaching in St. Louis area for a long time, and at one point ran his own high school team club called the River City Hawks. So you got guys that have been around the game doing a lot of people in the clubs. These are not things that we normally talk about. We're usually talking about the kids. But when you're talking about a club, and we talk about cost a lot, right? And you are a club.
Yep.
You own the hitting zone. I think it gets lost, and everybody wants to keep costs down, and I think we should try to. But at certain levels, when you're talking about the development of a player and things like that moving forward, where are they getting their training? There's very few people that have a dad that maybe played at the professional level that can help with those things and do. So you're looking for somebody who has that experience. And these clubs, as we're talking with the Redbirds here, the recruits, the A's, now over at Legacy, and you got the Clutch, Josh Cranwetter, he's got the youth side. I know Brian Kessler just joined that group over there. Great baseball guy. I remember back in the day, we'd kind of met. His son was about, I think, my son's age and whatnot, so playing against each other and things of that nature.
They got Ringy over there, so that's the win.
Craig Ringy, yeah. He was the SEMO head coach.
Yeah. Have you ever met him?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did the winter workout tour, watched him. I love the way, and the thing about it, he's working with kids at 12 and 13, and his demeanor was that of a college coach. You could see it. It was just like he didn't change. He didn't try and do certain things differently. He's walking through the kids and the way they talk to him and whatnot. I thought it was really impressive how Craig, was relating to the kids in a similar fashion as he was if he was talking to one of his players at the collegiate level.
I just having conversations with people that he trains, that work with him, inside those four walls. He's got it,
Yeah.
And so if I get a chance to hear somebody talk about him, I'm listening. I don't really know him like that, and so just to hear people talk, I'm like, I got to meet this guy. I want to have a conversation with him and see if there's a way to get better. I think that Adidas program, they got a kind of a stranglehold on the high school side of things, don't they? I mean, as far as that versus the youth program.
I think they have a high school program. I think that's where they've developed a lot of their stuff as far as that's concerned. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that makes an impact there.
Because there's really what I've noticed is once you get to the high school level, you don't have as many teams.
No.
It starts to shrink, and whether or not that's 14-year-old kids not wanting to play anymore, or the cost, or pricing people out and things like that. I'm not sure, but I've noticed that there is not as many high school players available like there is on the youth side of things.
No, but I think that's the attrition factor, in my opinion, when you're talking about club
That's a
teams.
lot.
It is. And you're going to see kids decide, no, I'm going to go do this. Maybe I want to do esports. I don't know. And that's where it really gets into that factor, because as well as I do, high school is another step, another level of commitment. Mm-hmm. When you graduate high school and you go on to play college baseball, it's a job.
At any level, and don't let anybody tell you that just because you go to an NAIA, a junior college, D3, D2, D1, or even the NCJAA or NCCAA,
yeah,
whatever, the Christian Collegiate League,
yeah.
all of it is a job. You are waking
Yes.
up at 5 a.m. You are going to bed at 9 p.m. Study halls, workouts, class, practice. Like, no, it's a job. You
Yeah.
know, the one greatest thing I'd say about having the D3 experience is that it's more student friendly.
Yeah.
Because you only have so many dates like in the fall and stuff like that. But man, you have to love it.
Yes, you do.
And if you don't love it, don't pretend.
And I think that's what I think some of it's the shock of going from high school baseball to the collegiate level. And as you say, you're waking up at 5, getting to the gym, going to class, going to practice, going to class.
Oh, never mind, you're being redshirted this year.
Right?
You know, like we haven't even got to the conversations of how many kids are playing when they walk in as an 18-year-old kid out of shape compared to these 22-year-old men or women.
And here, of course, this is a very large group, and you know, kudos
Ron Tigers.
Kudos to Aaron Jaworski, who has done a great job building this program across the country.
I worked for Jaws was one of the first guys I ever worked for coming out of college. I was doing camps for him when he was with Balls and Strikes out over there in Des Peres Park.
Yeah.
I got to work with Kachuk's son and Francis Slay's grandkids. Right? They were like 6 and 7 years old. Little did I know that those were going to be some players. Yeah. But I did. I used to work camps for him. At that time, making $10 an hour.
There you go.
Thanks, Jaws. You could pay me a little better. I'm just kidding.
That's
I'm
wrong. That's
kidding.
wrong.
It was like literally maybe 20 years ago.
Wow.
I guess it would have been 20 years ago. So that was pretty good pay.
David
Not
Kirby,
right?
David Berkby, the general manager, Spiker Helms. You see him on YouTube all the time. He's the director of marketing sales. Shannon Hoffman.
He swings it too. Like he trains. Yeah, he trains some hitters.
There you go. I thought, yeah. He just, Evan Pratt is the director of high school baseball operations. Grayling Tobias, director of youth baseball development. Griffin Goodrich, team sport manager. These are the people behind the scenes when you're talking about keeping these things going. You go to their website, they have Tiger TV on YouTube, and that's a lot of what Spiker does. I think it's great. I think it's awesome how they do that.
Notice, like, what I'm seeing behind some of these successful groups is the team that they have behind them. And
yes.
So when you talk about, why is there these certain costs in them? Well, how often do you like to go to YouTube if you're a Rawlings Tigers player or family and get to see these kinds of things in these commercials and development? If you don't like it, then don't go play for them. But if you like going on there and seeing the cool stuff on the website, when they have 10 people on there to get you all the fun stuff, I mean, my gosh, I got 4 teams.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do the marketing, the development and all that stuff. And I would love to have more people, but you can't. So I start pricing people out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because I have to pay somebody to do the job.
And that's the thing with the clubs, and why I'm bringing some of this up, and the people behind these things. I understand there's cost involved, and I think as a club, if you're going to go club baseball, and this is why I'm saying to people, there's other alternatives. If money is an issue, and I'm not trying to, and here's the thing, and this is where it gets into. I'm not pushing for clubs, against clubs. You should do this. I'm just talking in general. I'm talking baseball. And I like the clubs just as much. I think they do, here, the St. Louis Prospects. It's Andy Bennis, is the owner there. It's a major league dude.
I was going to say, I hope some of these people know who that is.
Don King is the president. He was
He's not the fight promoter.
Played collegiately at Illinois State University. Frank Olaf. I remember playing again. I had teams that played against Frank's teams back in the day. Austin Nelson coaches there. Tommy Hager. Tommy, that kid's a player.
He was. I guess he played with Kevin Weisenborn's son, Nick, I guess at East or something of that nature. Or somehow they're good friends with
he was part of that team back in the day with Drew Prater.
Oh, gotcha.
Henson and all those guys.
He played for
Martinez.
them? He played for Drew?
Yeah.
I gotcha. I was going to say Drew's like 40 something.
Because Lenny Klaus had that team they combined. There was a lot of
I
really
saw
good
Lenny
players.
not too long ago. He came in the hitting zone.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hadn't been around in a while, huh?
Well, no, he's in and out of wherever he wants to work out of.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing. You got kids that have played here, coming back, giving back into the community. These are the clubs. If money is an issue, maybe you put together an independent team. There's nothing wrong with
Legion.
that.
We've talked about Legion.
Exactly. Find some outlets and some opportunities. The clubs, I think, will be fine. That doesn't mean they don't need the help and whatnot, but we're just talking about, I think, looking at this part of it. We've never done that.
No.
And it was interesting to me. I threw this because it just popped in my head. I was like, we should look at this part of it because these are the people behind the scenes. These are people with experience and things of that nature. We hope, I don't know all these people, we hope that they care about the kids. And that's the point of all this is, are we doing this for the kids?
At the end of the day, having conversations with everybody from Jaws in the past. I haven't spoke to Jaws in quite some time, but I've had conversations with Andy Bennis through Facebook about different various things and conversations, and he cares a tremendous amount about it. He's got it. His family plays against us at Timberland, and stuff like that, and he cares about the development of it because there's a lot of us that think that we're missing out on some things teaching our young people. You know what I mean? The IQ of the sport is gone. You're so much wrapped into a phone, a tablet, things like that we forget about watching baseball in its purest fashion.
Gamers over there, we were able to do a winter workout tour stop there. Matt Whiteside, met Matt Whiteside. Didn't know anything really about him. Nice enough guy, does a great job there. I didn't know Kevin Wheeler, the radio personality, was on ESPN there. He's a coach there and instructor and whatnot. He played college ball and whatnot.
I got a funny story about Kevin Wheeler we can talk about after the show. This AAU basketball days.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. ABC Ballpark, AAU, Andy Van Slyke's son, Wheeler. Oh, man, I was a couple other radio personalities.
You look at these guys here.
Look at Cooper. I mean, you got
Shane Cooper right there.
Shane's on there. He had some unfortunate things happen for his playing career, but there's some
Andy Marks, James Beaver, and you look at these guys have been with the Gamers for a while. Cooper since 2007, probably playing days included, but giving back into the community.
That's when his dad was probably coaching him.
Yeah. Zach Rutter, former Gamer, Mach 1 hitting director since 2007. Again, I'd say that's probably these kids played in the program and now are back. And I think that's the amazing part of that is back into the program, continuing to work.
That was one of the very first shows that I think we ever did was talking about why we're doing YBM and stuff like that was just about the community and then the conversations of giving back, watching the players that you had coached, that they're coming back through the ranks doing it, watching players that I have coached that are now, starting 10U teams and things like that. I think it's pretty awesome.
And we'll take a look around over here in St. Charles. Some of these clubs and whatnot, St. Charles County. That was St. Louis County. I'm sure we missed a club or two over there. We may have, and I don't mean to leave anybody out. I really don't. But just looking at this and really understanding, keep it in perspective. That's the biggest thing. Keeping things in perspective. Always fun, man. Hope you folks have enjoyed the conversation out there. Remember, if you did, hit the subscribe button. And what's next to that subscribe button?
A dinger.
Because that's what we do around here. We hit dingers. And that will get you all the notifications for upcoming episodes for Youth Baseball Talk, Prep Baseball Talk, and we added Legion Baseball Talk. We've got some good stuff coming up on the Legion side as well, working with the Legion programs over there. It's a lot of fun. There's plenty of baseball out there, folks, and that's what we're trying to promote is just the game of baseball across the board. That's what YBMcast is about. So everybody, remember, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and hitters,
have some light tower power so you can hit it where they ain't.
I love that. We'll see y'all next time.